Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to Sneaker Stories. As always, I'm your host Chris Jack. Today we're checking out a pair that I've been dying to get my hands on and my feet into for quite some time. It hasn't released locally here in South Africa and most parts of the world, but it has seen a release in the US and Europe so far. Without further ado, let's check out one of the latest silhouettes between Kanye West and Adidas, the 380 Alien. Alright, so the 380 Alien finally in my hands right here. This is a shoe that I've been incredibly intrigued by. You know, when new silhouettes and leaks come from Adidas and Yeezy, everyone kind of throws shade on the silhouettes or the shoe and they say, oh nah, that's trash, whatever. But when the shoe's sort of released, the hype just starts to build and build and build, and then people see on-foot shots, etc., reviews and stuff like this, and it kind of like turns their opinion around. And that might not be for everyone, but at least like that for me. And when I really first loved the shoe was when I saw it on foot in Dubai at Outsole DXB, and I knew that it was actually quite a cool shoe and something that I would love to wear myself personally. So very stoked to have them in the collection. It's a completely redesigned 350, if you will. In fact, the first sample pairs that released on the Yeezy Supply website, I believe, still had Yeezy 350 V3 tags inside of the shoe, and the box was a little different. If you just look at the unboxing on Sneaker News of this pair, they still have a box that's got 350 V3 on it. However, it would appear that the naming was completely changed to its own complete line, the 380. So yeah, this is the first version, I guess the OG, if you will, and to be honest, I'm a massive fan of it. So to get into the shoe, just some structural changes on it, completely different midsole, and I've actually got the static V2 350 over here just for comparison. You can just see the difference between the two, even though a very similar colorway on this particular release. The first things you'll notice is a completely redesigned midsole and upper on the shoe. In fact, everything's pretty much been redesigned on this. So to get into it, I'm going to start with the midsole because this is such a cool midsole over here. You'll notice that you've got this little bit of alien detail over here. The whole theme of the shoe is alien, so it's just, you know, it looks like a Rorschach test thing, whatever that is. But the midsole itself is this translucent rubber. It kind of wraps quite high up into the heel section of the shoe there, and then you do have some detail just below that, which kind of has a little liquidy, drippy sort of effect going around there just underneath. And then set just behind that, you've obviously got a boost layer. Now, there's been a lot of talk about comfortability of this particular pair. It is really good. I do think it is definitely the most comfortable Yeezy ever produced to date, and that a lot of people have just attributed to extra boost in here. However, it's not actually more boost than you would get in any other shoe. In fact, it's less than what you'd get in an Ultra Boost. There are some other factors on the shoe which we'll get to in the review, which are also contributing to the comfort level of this pair. So flipping underneath the shoe, you'll see a completely redesigned outsole. You will see the boost exposed here in a whole bunch of different places here on the shoe. There's quite a lot of grip and traction going on. They've got a lot of these sort of ribs that have been waved through here all the way throughout the shoe. For those of you that are thinking that this might glow in the dark, that would have been a very cool feature, especially considering this is an alien inspired shoe. Unfortunately, it does not glow in the dark at all. Now, moving into the upper of the shoe, the primeknit on here is a full sock-like construction. It is really comfortable on foot. The design of this particular pair and colorway is the Alien, as I've mentioned. You've got a whole mix of different textures going on here with different colors as well, from grays to sort of cream whites and whites. The nice thing about this primeknit is it has a lot of different texture going on here. It's almost like a 3D primeknit, if you will. And that means basically different height layers of different threads throughout the primeknit, which give it this rather textured and good depth on the design of the upper. Now, one of the things I'm still not 100% sold on myself, just because it's really plasticky, is this sort of exposed stripe that you've seen. And we started to see some of that transparency come through in some of the later models of the 350 V2. And this one looks more like a big gash down the side of it, like a tear throughout the shoe. It's quite a cool effect. However, you do have these rather big incisions in that, which have basically provided holes for the lacing system. And then some of them are just kind of covered in this plastic, so you can't really get through there. I'll try to get that on the camera for you guys. But it's quite hard and really plasticky, and there's something about that I just don't think sits well in 2020. It looks like really shitty plastic to some degree. I don't know if I hate it, but I don't know, there's like all the Parley initiative, and then there's like, let's coat this in crappy plastic kind of vibe. I don't know what's happening with it. Like Virgil's doing that on off-white shoes as well, just covering shoes in plastic. It's like a big fuck you to the world. Anyway, the laces of the shoes are just a standard cream white, standard sort of Yeezy lace that you would normally get with any of the other pairs, and that's obviously been laced through these holes in the prime knit itself, so no specific lacing structure on the shoe. Very similar to what you'd have just on the normal 350 V2. Anyway, then moving up to the collar section of the shoe, this is quite a tight collar here, which really hugs your ankle. Some people have said it's quite difficult to get into the shoe, but I haven't had that problem at all. It's pretty easy, it's just a slip on for me, but maybe if you do have a wide foot, try get your foot in there, it could be quite difficult. And then just flipping inside of the shoe, you do have quite a lot of support here in your ankle section, if you guys can see that. It's quite a bit of cushioning there, which just adds to the comfortability of the shoe. And then just having a look at the insoles over here, these are sort of a lighty bluey color, if my eyes serve me correct. You do have the Adidas Performance logo and the Yeezy logo on both of the insoles. Now, I spoke a little bit about comfort earlier, and one of the biggest contributing factors to that is that the footbed of the shoe, which you guys might be able to just see in there, is quite a bit thicker than what you would normally have on a 350 V2. It's actually almost double or maybe even more the thickness of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that white piece over there, which basically sits on top of the boost layer of the shoe in between the boost and your foot. And to touch, that is really soft. It's really cushioning, and I think that's really providing a hell of a lot to the shoe. And then just the last thing on comfortability, which I really think is making a huge difference here, is the slant heel section over here in the midsole of the shoe. So you can see how it just completely rises up, and that's supposedly better for you for walking and running, just supporting your stride as you're walking in the shoes. Now, from a sizing perspective, I did go true to size. This is a UK 9 for me, which is my true to size with Yeezys. I obviously do take a half size up in some Yeezys as well, which is pretty much the general recommendation on Yeezys. I would say, to be safe, take your standard Yeezy 350 V2 size. So if you do take a half size up because it's tight in the toe, then do that on this particular pair as well. The shoe fits me really snug. My toe is right here in the front as well. I might have wanted to consider a half size up on this particular one, but true to size has always been fine for me in 350 V2s, hence I went with that size here. So if you want to be safe, take a half size up in this if you are looking to get a pair. And speaking about availability, as mentioned earlier, these did not release locally here in South Africa and in most territories around the world besides the US and Europe. However, I do have a suspicion we will see a much wider release of this particular pair. I'm just not sure if it's going to be this colorway or maybe one of the next colorways, but I think they're doing something quite similar to what they did with the 700 Wave Runner, where they first initially released these on Yeezy supply, followed by a US release, followed by a global release a couple of months later. So I would expect to see these in most territories around the world probably in the next month or two. Now, if you're like me and don't want to roll the dice on whether or not they will release down the line in the OG colorway, then you can obviously pick them up on the resale market. This particular pair came from StockX, and yeah, that's generally where I'll get most of my pairs on the resale market. I do generally find that they're the cheapest from a price perspective on the resale market if you're just patient with your bids, etc. However, that said, you will still have to pay customs, import duties, etc. and shipping if you are looking to bring a pair in. So if you don't know what those are, I have made a video on it. I'll link it in the description below. The real cost of importing sneakers to South Africa. For those of you around the world, you will know your own sort of processes of importing and the import taxes and fees, etc. that come along with importing sneakers. But overall speaking, super stoked to have this pair in the collection. It's one that I've been waiting to get on my feet for a long time. I think they look really good on foot, and the most important thing for me in this particular aspect is the comfortability of this. I absolutely love them. I'll definitely be looking at getting some other colorways of these down the line. But that's it for this review. If you do have any further questions on this pair or anything else in the room, please drop them in the comment section below. Please also give the video a thumbs up right here if you did enjoy watching it, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe right there as well. But that's it from me for today, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.